Hello world, I'm not Magneto, I'm Chris Pirillo, and you're watching not an X-Men show, you're watching a grown man who's just north of 40 years old, geeking out on YouTube. This is the Locker Gnome Daily Report, or TLDR for short, your daily dose of, what do we do again? Oh yeah, geek news, product views, and answers that you can use. Like an answer to the question, why is Chris wearing that awesome geeky hoodie? Well, it's because it's very comfortable, and because we're selling this online, we're really reselling it at shop.lockergnome.com. Patrons get a 10% lifetime discount there, and we now have 831 patrons. Without these people, I wouldn't be doing this, and I wouldn't be able to continue with YouTube, because let me tell you, as I remove the entire hoodie, because this is a little hot right now. These are great to wear in winter months, but it's very warm in Seattle today. Temperate, but still warmer than usual, and it gets really warm in my workshop here. So, thank you to the patrons, and the reason why is because I'm not going to say that I'm screwed, but so many of you guys know, and gals, know that I've been running LockerGnome.com since 1996, and it's continued to move forward over the years, trying to address what I believe is fun, fashionable, you know, interesting, helpful sometimes, just, you know, a mishmash of, and chris.pirillo.com, my blog, not to be confused with chrispirillo.com, which is the redirect for the Patreon campaign, and yes, they take PayPal. So I'm screwed without patrons because, hey, here's the problem. Doing content online isn't like what it used to be. And recently, Google made some changes with their search engine algorithm. And what we were doing, and I have a small team, and I've had to cut back the hours of some of them, unfortunately, because we were able to offset a lot of costs through ad revenue on those websites. Well, Google changes the algorithm, and our traffic just, it's still there, kind of, but it's a mouse fart of where it used to be, and I'm not an SEO expert. I'm not a website expert. I know what I enjoy doing, I know what I want to do more of, and so we're actually, we're gaining traction here with patrons, but we're losing traction elsewhere, and this is part of my prediction that ad revenue is just going to go away, and by and large it is. So my head is in a space where I'm trying to figure out what it's going to take to find more people who can support us in this way, because unfortunately, well, I don't know what we're going to do with LockerGnome.com and Chris.Pirillo.com. People still want me to do things, but I can't do them the way that I used to do them. And I have some ideas of some regular programming, produced videos that I'd like to do, including stuff around gadgets, some hands-on stuff that I can't and don't want to do alone, because I don't like video editing. That's why I do these streams live on YouTube like I'm doing right now. But the another thing that we thought about, and I'm thinking we're going to start recording these this week, and we'll release them once a week, something that I'm going to call TGIF, Tips, Guidance, Information, Facts, and it'll be a produced video, and we'll do a new one every week, and the idea behind these videos would be that, you know, they'll be helpful, they'll be useful, and that they'll last over time, not just, you know, that day that we record them, but, you know, you'd be able to enjoy them 5 years from now, potentially. And so I've got some ideas about how to do some new things with video, and I just have to say it. Like, I can't rely on search engine traffic. I can't rely on followers. I can't rely on subscribers. Not to say I can't rely on you. You're obviously watching this video. I'm saying that that number count only is valuable in aggregate. YouTube doesn't think you're worth less than a penny each view. You're worth nothing to YouTube in terms of a view. But patrons, on the other hand, are creating that stability for me to be able to do what it is that you say you want me to do. So I'm appreciative of all the support that we're getting, but the game is currently changing, and it's changing quicker than I was anticipating. So you tell me what more you want from me. Tell me what it's going to take to make you believe that I believe that the things I want to do are worth becoming a patron for. You tell me. I'm asking directly for your feedback, because I'm guessing. You know, I'm like, it's been a good guess so far. So I just want to tell you, that's where my head's at right now. I've got some interesting stuff on my desk, including some geek news. I did not hit payday, unlike Beats, acquired officially by Apple. I didn't really even talk about this, did I? Or barely, because I don't like talking about rumors, but it is official. They have acquired Beats. Apple now has Beats, but they're not going to rebrand Beats, at least initially. They're always going to, continue forward as Apple, and Beats at this point is going to continue forward as Beats. So why do I think they did this? And I think I even made the same assertion a few weeks ago. Feel free to correct me if this is not what I said. But Tim Cook today at an event, and I've got the link for you in this video description, by the way, as well as other links that I'm going to cover. Tim Cook had basically said, they believe it's a complementary product, that they're able to do better things together than apart. I look into it and think, well, iTunes used to be a juggernaut in terms of music downloads, but that's slipping away. People aren't downloading a la carte. They're more like me, the way I used to be even 10 years ago. I'm a big fan of music subscription services. That's not changed. Well, that is something that Apple didn't adapt to quickly enough. So their, finger on the pulse of pop culture in relation to music has kind of not been as strong as it once was. Beats, on the other hand, specifically with its founders, they've got fantastic connections throughout the music industry, and it's one of the reasons the Beats got big. So I think this is a very smart acquisition, if only for relationships alone. Forget the technology. I mean, the technology is interesting. I'm sure they'll make some money with it. I don't think this acquisition has anything to do with the technology. So if you're freaking out because the Beats quality is horrible, I don't care. I think it's all about the relationships and being able to tap into music culture, the culture around music, or music's place in our culture that they're really buying into. And from that perspective, I don't think that was a horrible purchase decision to make. And certainly, someone made money today. Apple lost a little, but they got plenty of money to burn, at least for the foreseeable future. So, that's probably the biggest bit of tech news and my thoughts on it. I think it was an okay acquisition, but I'm not going to run out and, get Beats. I only had one pair of Beats, and I think it was, an original Beats that they sent. It was okay. I think they broke. I sent them to Cat, and I think they broke. So, I don't think it was a technology buy. I know a lot of geeks are like, oh, but it was no, it's just the people and the relationships. It's very valuable. Apple can make a comeback, potentially. Not to say that they're slipping away, but in terms of music, it's all on Spotify or Pandora. Okay. We used to listen to Pandora. I almost said Spotify. Spandora? Spandora is music that you listen to when you wear spandex. The thing that we used to use religiously, Pandora. Now, Diana loves Spotify. Mm-hmm. So our family is on Spotify. I do not expect... Oh, you guys want a good Spotify album to listen to? You're going to love this. I was going to talk about this yesterday. Christopher Lee, the guy who played Count Dooku in Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, Star Wars. I don't know if you've heard about that, series, a little empire there. He's 92 years old. He released a heavy metal album, like an EP. He's singing songs from Don Quixote. That's awesome. Awesome is the word. I don't know if I'd say it's going to be award-winning, but it was interesting. Good for you. That's so nice. I hope I'm doing the same thing at 92 years old, to do a heavy metal. 92-year-old heavy metal. Christopher Lee. Congratulations. You can listen to it on Spotify if you want. Just take a listen. Let me know what you guys think, because I was like, oh, okay. Next. I'm going back to my They Might Be Giants. I'm good to go. A product view, you ask? Fine. I received this today. Haven't had a chance to use it, because I just received it. Dimple. Your custom buttons for Android NFC devices. Dimple is a product that you can effectively place on a device that has NFC, and with it you can configure these little buttons. And I guess I can remove it from the package here. I can do an unboxing. It's not really a box though. What would this be? An unopening or just opening? Can I say just opening? There we go. Took it out of the package. Here is my Dimple. 4 dimples. Can't really see it, but there we go. If I hold it in the shadow, you can see it pretty well. Launch apps. You can configure basically these bumps to do different things. Configure it to launch apps, launch app drawers, change settings, call someone, turn on the flashlight, take a picture, control music, and much more by way of the SDK and API. Software Development Kit Application Programming Interface. Kind of neat. They're like little, well, they're bumps with little little nipples on top. So they look like they're dimples, but this is what it is. Yeah, so white, gray. Yeah, it's like a dark gray one there. And these might be kind of fun to program buttons that didn't come on your device. And I'm assuming if you have an Android device, it's probably one at this stage that has NFC. Will the next iPhone have NFC? I do not know. There's so many things I'm looking forward to next week to hear what Apple has announced. Oh, okay, fine. Here's your Darth Vader thing of the day. Someone sent this to me. Thank you for this. The arms move. It's a chubby Vader. Chubby. The only problem I have... thank you, whoever got this off my wish list. I do love it. The only problem I have is that Hayden Christensen is inside. This is the real Hayden Christensen. They shrink wrapped him and put him inside. So I'm going to keep Hayden for now, but happily tucked away within Darth Vader. I've got a perspective, actually, on the Star Wars prequels that I was thinking about recording a video on my thoughts around Episode 1 and my feelings about Episode 1, specifically being someone who grew up with the original trilogy. So stay tuned for that. But one thing you shouldn't stay tuned for, you can do right now, we're doing a giveaway every day now, on deals.lockergnome.com. Don't forget about the, 20 comics for 20 days being done by Comixology. I mentioned it yesterday, so that link would be in the other link's video description. Comics are fun. Look at this. These are hardcover Darth Vader books. Not just story. I mean, they're books, but they're from the Dark Horse comic series titled Darth Vader and the Ninth Assassin, Darth Vader and the Lost Command, Darth Vader and the Ghost Prison, with books that I love, books with pictures. That's why I didn't really get interested in books when they lost pictures. I love the pictures. Give me more pictures. That's what I want. Modus has got its Geek Stakes going on. Told you about it yesterday. Important to just try it, because, hey, if you get something, you're better off having something than not having something, and it won't cost you anything. Geek Stakes happens every year. Link for that is in this video's description. Facebook isn't axing auto shares from other apps, but will favor explicitly shared stories in the feed. Facebook's all over the map, and I'm not going to say that social media destroyed blogging, but it kind of did. I post to Facebook on a regular basis, and I usually do it organically. Go to Facebook, post it, instead of just doing auto-sharing. I don't share what I'm listening to. I don't share what I'm liking. I'll, share it directly, so there's a better chance that you would have seen it before. Now there's an even greater chance that you would see it now. And I've learned some tricks along the way in terms of making sure that more people could see what I'm posting to the Facebook page. 150,000 subscribers, maybe 12 people see the average post. That's horrific. I can't count on that. How do you count on that? I mean, what's the point of having someone who cares about you enough to follow you, and they never see what it was that they followed you for? Not to pay. Now I'm gone? I left my name to turn you on? What the hell was that? I went black. I don't know if anybody could hear me there. I went black for a couple seconds. Sorry about that. It's technical difficulties, I guess. I'm difficult, but technically speaking, that was not my problem. Sometimes it does that. Sometimes the preview will go just dark, and there's no telling why. So, okay, we've now kind of recovered from a brief hiccup, very brief. PAX Prime 4-day tickets here in Seattle sell out in 25 minutes. I did not get one. So I may have to apply for, press, or maybe if I can convince Chris Joes, who helps me with the Locker Gnome shop, to be a vendor at PAX Prime. That'd be fun to meet you that way. But otherwise, it's sold out. So I'll see if I can get in there as media press to do interviews and videos and possibly connect with you there. You know what? See, we got Vlogger Fair coming up in Seattle late this summer. I'm very much looking forward to that, meeting other vloggers, daily vloggers. and you know, average vloggers, or just people who love YouTube and the community. But I don't know what it is, but I can't help but think there's a good crossover between the YouTube culture and geeks. And I think there's something that's just tying them together, you know? They're like, what I want to do is I want to do a public meetup in Seattle with myself, Barnacules Nerdgasm, I Am Erica, Metal Jesus Rocks, and Mr. Repsion. Those are 5 geeks that I know of, 5 geeks who live in the Seattle area that have rather large YouTube followings. And then we could probably pull in Linus Sebastian, who's like leading the Modus Geek Stakes, and then potentially any other big geeky YouTubers here. So what about a geek? What if we tweak it a bit and went geek? What if we tweak to geek?
Tweak to geek.
Tweak to geek. The geek tweaks? Then we can have, that'd be awesome! Geek culture. I think maybe that's how we tweak it. I don't know, baby. I gotta...
Mix it up with twerking.
Don't mix it up with twerking. Yes, well, maybe that would bring in more people, though. Let me go ahead and run through the list of credits here for the patrons. Not to be confused with patron. Patrons, different. Patrons, better than Patron. They will not give you a headache. Patron's good stuff, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was told it doesn't give you a headache. I don't drink, so I don't. Just kidding. So what else came out? Today, Mary Meeker, who's done internet trends over the years, an analyst that a lot of people trust for good reason, basically suggests that the trend indicates that mobile is booming while online slows down. What does this mean? Well, how do you experience the world these days? Through an app. You may even use the Locker Gnome app. We have a Locker Gnome app. It's okay. It could be better, but I'm not an app developer. I can't develop an app. I know what I would like it to be and what I'd like it to do. I've got some ideas of how to make it possible. I don't want to do it anything ad-driven, though. I'm not a fan of that. I don't like ads. I don't think anybody likes ads anymore. I mean, I got to run them because it helps pay, you know, for certain other things to happen, but I just think that it's not sustainable over a long period of time. So mobile is booming while online slows. Well, that's been the issue with my business, is that most of it has been primarily online. You're using the internet, but primarily an app, a YouTube app. Maybe you're watching me in a Facebook embed. Who knows how you're watching me, but it's probably within some kind of app. And this is going to be the trend and moving on in the future. And as far as a mobile strategy is concerned, like I said, I've got some ideas of what I could do for the community. And I've got some, I got to nail down a couple of details, of course, to make it happen, because, you know, it's got to, someone's got to pay the bill. So, like I said, I'm trying to think through where I fit in that future mobile strategy, beyond just creating content, beyond just creating value for you and putting my thoughts out there and reporting news and sharing things and everything. But it's a big trend that I don't think can be ignored. Mobile booming while online slows. Huge deal. Valve is apparently delaying until 2015. That's a full year from now-ish. They're delaying the Steam Machine. And I guess they're having controller issues. So, okay, well, you know, I'd rather them release a product that's worth releasing. Wait until it's working well enough. You wouldn't want to release a piece of junk. Because if you released a piece of junk and people saw it as a piece of junk, they've got it in their mind forever that it's a piece of junk. So I think that the controller specifically, maybe not the Steam Machine, but the controller itself. So they're having issues with their Valve controller. Sorry if I fumbled through that headline. Sometimes when I write things down for me to go by, I go by these notes that I put in the video's description, and sometimes I'm cryptic even for myself. Microsoft has shown off like a Babelfish of sorts, where in Skype, now this hasn't been released yet, but they're saying here within the next year or so, they'll be releasing this software on Skype that will translate in real time. Like, you'll be talking, if I'm speaking in English and you speak Romanian, let's say, it would translate it for you, like automatically on the fly. That's pretty cool, but I don't know how well it works. They've demonstrated it with Klingon, so you know it's gotta work well. Qapla'. Really, I'm the only person who knows what that is here. So Skype is getting a Babelfish type of a tweak coming up at some point. 42% off. Speaking of X-Men, the hoodie that I was wearing, and I'm glad I took it off because I'm hot even right now. You can get 42% off X-Men Days of Future Past Blu-ray set with a special Magneto helmet a replica Magneto helmet, like the kind of like the hoodie. That's a Magneto hoodie. This is an actual helmet, a collectible. If you get this set right now, 42% off. This is a new thing. You can get it. The movie's in theaters, but you can pre-order the Blu-ray. About the same cost as it would cost you. About the same price as it would cost you to go see the movie in the theaters with somebody. You can get the Blu-ray set with this collectible. So I thought that was kind of nice to tell everybody. Or if you haven't seen the movie yet, there's also a special deal where you can buy another one of these movies, a special listed movie, like an X-Men movie. You can get a pass, one free admission worth $8 to go see X-Men Days of Future Past right now. So, save money and get a Blu-ray, or save money on the Blu-ray instead of going to the movies. Either way, if you're going to see Days of Future Past anyway, you might as well save $8 on it and get a Blu-ray to boot. Just tell me that I'm off. Tell me that I'm wrong with that. I mean, you'd be crazy to skip that deal if you haven't seen it yet. And I have not seen it yet. Laser-powered Windows wireless... I'm sorry, Windows. My God, where'd that come from? Laser-powered wireless broadband can now reach the moon. So they have figured out... the infamous scientists have figured out how to get broadband. I mean, broadband capable of streaming HD video between the Earth and the moon. So instead of using the old wave signals, what was it, the RF? They're now using lasers. They're laser to push video. So you know what this means? You can get better connection to the internet on the moon than you can on the Earth. There's something wrong with that. There's something really wrong with that. More wrong than me sitting this close to the camera. Yay, science! But let's try to figure out what we're doing here at home. Can we do that? Can we make a better internet at home for us? I just need more lasers. That's what I need. Oh, hey! Look! Greg Schaeffler. I gotta stop reading your last names when I'm reading the comments in the live stream because I always screw them up. Qapla'. He knew what Qapla' was.
Star Trek?
Yes, it is Star. At least you knew it was Star Trek. All right, Diana. That's an improvement. Improvement. So, what else is in the news? Ahead of here's another Apple announcement ahead of WWDC next week. We will be live streaming my commentary live as I've done in the past because I don't have the rights to rebroadcast their stream. Apple has announced education pricing for the iPad Air and Retina iPad Mini, now starting at $469 and $379. So if you are looking for education pricing, you can now save money with the iPad. I think the iPad is, to this point, the best tool for schools, or the best computer for schools, because it's ubiquitous. And I think Chromebooks are very close second. But I like the fact that the iPad is a little more portable. It is more portable than a Chromebook. Touch the screen like you could a traditional book. More lightweight than a typical Chromebook. You can connect a keyboard to it by way of Bluetooth. So it's nice to see that they're allowing people to save money with it. I think, anytime I hear about a school getting a computer or something like it's always an iPad. It's never an Android device, or seldom an Android device. It's usually an iPad. So either way, I would kill for an Android device or an iPad. Anything I would have killed for. I would have killed for any computer when I was a kid, because the computers I had sucked, but they were awesome, and we got to play Oregon Trail all the time, and I always died of dysentery. Now, this is an interesting read. And before I forget, at the end of the broadcast, Google announced self-driving car. They've actually got a prototype. No steering wheel, no pedals. You can get in this little vehicle, and it has a top speed of 25 miles an hour, and it's a self-driving car. Google's got it. There's a video you can watch of real people getting in the car and being driven around.
I think you'd be anxious, though?
Oh, I'd be really anxious. But you know what? If everybody was in a self-driving car, I don't know if I'd be as anxious. I think it's the way of the future. I'm happy Google's paving the way, so to speak. Paving, get it? That's a little pun with the whole driving road. Paving the way. Right. This was an interesting read. If you only read one article today, this I thought was fantastic. New York Times article, and by the way, errors and omissions report. I mentioned of an article of a Surface Pro review yesterday, but the problem is I said it was from the New York Times when it's actually from the Wall Street Journal. This article, however, was published on the New York Times, talking about faking cultural literacy, which is just I think this is where we are in the state of cultural literacy. Like, I don't know anything about Kim Kardashian. I know she has a big butt. I'm not saying I like that. If I did, I would not be lying, or maybe I would be lying. I don't like big butts, or I do like big. So I know she's got a big butt. And I don't know if this is how she got famous. Is that how she got famous?
I think it was a sex tape.
It was she had a sex tape?
Yeah.
That's what I need to do. I need to release a sex tape. Here we go.
You're doing it now.
I'm going to do a sex tape live on YouTube. This is a first. Hang on. Here I go. I've got to prepare myself with the right tools. Got tools here for making a sex tape. Here we go. Hang on. Just give me a second. Hun, entertain them while I make my sex tape.
Okay. How long is it gonna be?
About... I almost said about 2 inches, but I realized just how weird that sounded. Here's my sex tape. Live on YouTube. Right there, sex tape. I've now applied my sex tape to my forehead. So now I will be as famous as Kim's butt. So I don't know much... Okay, I'm taking this off now. I don't know much about... but I know I love you, and that may be all I need to know. You don't know the song? Really? Wasn't that Aaron Neville? So I don't know much about Kim Kardashian. Back to the story. But I know enough to be dangerous. With, not just with Kim, but with information. You don't read a full piece to just glean enough information and knowledge to be able to carry on conversations. Like, I know what happens in and around news events. So, for example, not to be, I'm lighthearted right now, but on a more serious bit of news, Maya Angelou today passed away. Former poet laureate. I don't know if you become former or you're always poet laureate. Just one amazing writer, and having been a poet in the past, horrible poet by the way. No, it's not fun when anybody passes away, really. Well, it's not fun when most people pass away. And I'm talking about bad people in this world. Maya was not a bad person. I don't know her personally, but I know enough about her to know that she was a cultural icon. And I know enough to know that what she has accomplished in her life and impacted so many people's lives. And I just know enough just from getting bits and pieces from Twitter and Facebook. I haven't read a single article about her passing away, but I know she's passed away. So it was an interesting quote from within this article in the New York Times about our cultural canon becoming by whatever gets the most clicks. And just think about that. If someone who didn't, make as much of an impact as Maya did, the value of us seeing, or the potential of us seeing that news is lower, because the big story today may have been Apple acquiring Beats. So the other stories get shoved down. So imagine if you've got something that's a big announcement, but it gets buried with something else that gets the most attention, or more attention, certainly. Which is more important to you? And this quote is it's key. We've almost come now full circle to the beginning of what I was talking about at the beginning of the video. The problem with an ad-based model is the value you place on something that you like is completely different on the marketplace value. So this video is only valuable because you value it. In terms of, it working in the grand scheme of things, it could not be supported simply by ads. You couldn't do it. It's just impossible. This is why a lot of YouTubers are doing great, but inevitably if they lose traffic, they lose traction. You lose traffic, you almost lose everything. But the value of the content may be the same. Just because you have good content doesn't mean you're always going to do well. It just doesn't work that way. So I thought it was just fascinating. Our cultural canon is becoming determined by whatever gets the most clicks. You don't care where you read the headlines so long as you get the headlines. What do you care? What do you care the New York Times wrote this? What do you care? What do you care I screwed up yesterday saying the New York Times wrote something else that the Wall Street Journal did? You don't care. You just don't care. So what do you care about? You care about getting it. Well, who's going to get it? Who's going to get it out there? Who's going to share it? There are all these question marks here that are floating around, especially in relation to attention and culture. I think source becomes a lot less relevant. Listening to me, spending a half hour of your life listening to me babble on about various things other than the hiccup in the middle. And I do my best to interact with everybody in as many ways as I can. There's just so many social platforms and there's so much time in the day that I have. Just think about this. Our cultural canon is becoming determined. I go to Twitter for my news. It's my number one news source. It genuinely is. I follow a lot of people that are, tweeting things that wasn't tweeted, wasn't news. This is why, when I say, it's important to share things, that's one of the reasons why. YouTube's great. YouTube video or team, usually. It's what makes personality-based videos that much more interesting to me, and why I will continue to pursue that as something that I would like to do. If only because I like sharing my opinions and thoughts and interest points with the world. So that pretty much covers everything I wanted to talk about today. Got you a little bit of geekiness. Gave you a little bit of geekiness. Is that fair enough? I got this yesterday. I did not talk about it, though, to further complete my... Where's the new one I got today, too? I got a new Star Wars figure. I'm building a Jabba shelf, Jabba creature shelf. This one, not a lot of people knew about. It comes with a Bomar Monk, Bubo, and Wool... How do I say it? Cabashite? Cabashite? I don't know. Honey, that's a name! That's why I don't like reading names. Like, if I never hear it out loud, I don't know how to say it. Like, is it Princess Leia or Princess Leia? I always... Princess Leia. Anyway, a Bomar Monk. Not a spider, because there's so good to go on that. We'll be going on my impending Jabba figure shelf. Anyway, thanks everybody for watching and bearing with us. I really appreciate everybody's support. Hopefully you gained something valuable, if only a news story or a link that you otherwise would not have known about. Did I go black again? Okay, whew. I'm not black. I'm white. I wasn't trying to make it a racial issue, though. That was not really what I was doing.
I'm brown.
Diana's brown, so I'm not racist. I'm making a half brown baby.
Darth Vader's black.
Darth Vader at the same time. I really got to stop moving. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you tuning in. Thanks for remembering to like, share, comment, subscribe. Really, I'm genuinely, and when I throw things out there, I'm genuinely interested in your thoughts. My email address, chris@perillo.com. Like I said, I just appreciate connecting with you guys every day and appreciate the support, especially those from who decided to become a patron, a monthly patron. Really, it's a beautiful starting point for how I think we're going to go and grow into the future. At this point, I'm going to leave you to your own devices. Oh, wait, no, I'm not. I've got to do a what would you do video. Hang on. In a half hour, I'm doing my what would you do video. What would you set as your goals for the year? Ooh, this one's going to be a good one. You know what? I might very well make that one public. Because I didn't do a public video this week for the What Would You Do? Because patrons get 4 exclusives. One is, I do 5. 4 of them are exclusive. 1 is public. But Monday was Memorial Day. So maybe I'll do this one because I think I'm going to talk through some of my business goals. And I think that'll be helpful for everybody to watch and listen to. So I'm going to be recording that in about a half hour, streaming it live onto the YouTubes. So everybody, thank you for the support you give. Now I'm going to leave you to your own devices. We'll see you later.